Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. The Las Vegas Raiders have traded up to pick 170 and have selected safety out of Georgia, Christopher Smith. Coming up here on today's show, I'm going to tell you he's going to fit with the Raiders and his entire scouting profile, but would not have been able to do today's show if it wasn't for our awesome sponsor, Manscaped. Georgia, guess what their nickname is? The Bulldogs. And I don't want you to be in the doghouse for not making sure that your downstairs is shaved. So go to manscaped.com, use code Raiders for 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. So the Raiders, they had picked 203, 204, 220, and they also had 231. What they decided to do here is trade away 204 and 220, move up into the NFL draft. Let me know if you think that the Raiders got a good value here with this deal to trade up and select safety Christopher Smith. When I look at my notes here that Tom has laid out for me on Smith, because I watched very little tape on him, I'll be 100% honest with you. But looking at Tom's notes, it looks like coaches absolutely love this kid. Sounds like he's a dog in terms of first guy in, last guy to leave, not just the school that he went to. On top of that, though, not a good athlete. So, in terms of his scouting report, pretty fluid player who has good instincts and plays faster than what he tested. So what does that mean? Some guys are just not track athletes. They don't do well at the NFL Combine, but when it comes to being on the football field, they can play. Undersized and lacks top speed and agility. He does have missed tackles. However, he is not afraid to put his nose in there and hit somebody. He could be an interesting player to be a gunner in terms of a special teams option. Overall, Tom had him ranked as his 15th overall safety, 180th overall on their board. When you saw some of the linebackers that got drafted in round 5, I really thought that this could be a potential pick for a linebacker. From what it sounds like, the Raiders are pretty confident in their linebacker room, despite them not doing anything to address it in the NFL draft. So let me know right now, grade the pick. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. And you know what? We're going to make this the pinned comment on today's show, so you're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. While the ad is playing, I want you to scroll on down, because after that YouTube ad break, my grade on the Raiders selecting Christopher Smith. My grade here is a C. It's an average pick to me. He's an average athlete. He's a special teams player. I don't really view him anything more than that. And because there were some other players that I would have liked that they could have gone a different route, but hey, you still went with a defensive player. Sounds like the coaches are going to love him. Sounds like he's a great locker room guy. And I got my CEO over here in my ear saying, hey, he was on the best defense in college football. Like, many people regard the Georgia defense over the past 2 seasons. You could look at being one of the best, if not the best, college football defense in history. He was a 2-year starter on that D. So to me, that is something to look at. In terms of other top linebackers available, I wanted Ivan Pace Jr. So you got Georgia safety Christopher Smith II. They brought him in. He was on a good defense. And if you want to have a good D, use Manscaped products. Go to manscaped.com. Use code Raiders. It's the 2023 NFL Draft. Chugs and I have been live for all 3 days. We've been going absolutely insane. And you know what? I've been coming home some late nights. I'm not going to lie to you. I still want to make sure when I go home, I am Alex's #1 overall prospect. And to make sure that you continue to shoot up your girl's big board, I need you to go to manscaped.com, code Raiders. Whether you want to get your hands on the Lawnmower 4.0 or whether you're lucky enough and she puts her hands on your downstairs, I want you to make sure that it smells great, that it looks good. Use the ball toner. If you're using deodorant underneath your arms, for the love of God, you should put it underneath there. Chugs and I have been eating these nasty jelly beans. Bean Boozled, if you're watching, not a sponsor, you need to get Famunda cheese flavored, because I'll tell you what, standing up here being live for 8 hours, I got some stank going on down here, but I would only have stank if I didn't use Manscaped products. I use Manscaped every single day. Whether I'm wearing their boxers, whether I'm using the ball toner or the ball deodorant, it's hot as balls in Las Vegas. I don't want you walking around and you get a little bit of stench going on and you look at some and you're like, is that you? I sure hope not. So use promo code Raiders. Get advantage. Take advantage of this deal right now with the perfect package. You know why it's called the perfect package? Because it helps make your package look perfect. Let's continue to break down here Christopher Smith, who the Raiders traded up for with the New York Jets in round 5, pick 170 last season with the Georgia Bulldogs. 60 tackles, 3 interceptions, 5 PBUs, and a forced fumble. In terms of what Dane Brugler has to say on his scouting report, it's this. Smith looks more like a corner than a safety with his smallish body type, but he is a talented center fielder with read-react ability from depth and opportunistic ball skills. Although his size will eliminate him from several teams' draft boards, he has NFL starting potential with the right fit. My question out there is this: is Patrick Graham going to be the right fit? Also, the fact that they're looking for a center fielder, it's interesting to me because Marcus Epps is not a center fielder. And what do I mean by that? Epps is more of a strong safety who you're going to put up near the box, shout out to Manscaped, and you're going to really try to, get closer to the line of scrimmage. When the Raiders drafted Trevon Merrick, they were hoping that he could be a do-it-all safety. He has not really shown the ability to be a true center fielder, and even though I like Merrick out of TCU, he's not a McDaniels guy. He's not a Ziegler guy, and we have already seen if you're not a part of this regime, they're not afraid to move on from you. So the Raiders went Christopher Smith at round 5, pick 170. Whether you like the pick or not, I hope that you can always interact with us on the Raiders Report and interact with the nation. We are the #1 most watched Raiders YouTube show in the entire world. Hell, we're the most watched Raiders show in the world. Why? We have that commitment to excellence. We rock and roll with Raider Nation. And, I think we have a pretty damn good time if you ask me. So right now as it stands, here is the Raiders safety depth chart. This was entering before the 2023 NFL Draft. Also, I'm on Twitter right now, and my guy Scout is saying that one of the reasons that he's hearing the Raiders haven't addressed linebacker is they took UDFA from Polamalu. He is the nephew of Troy Polamalu. One of the reasons why they took him as a UDFA out of USC, they told him to put on 25 pounds and he could potentially play linebacker. Maybe that's something to look at. All I know is this: the Raiders still have plenty of needs on the defensive side of the football. Chandler Jones restructured his contract, so now you're at about $16 million, and they're going to make a few other moves, I think, probably, I'm going to guess, near the end of either the draft or more likely after June 1st. And I will still sit up here and say that I believe Hunter Renfrow will not be a Raider this upcoming season. In terms of some of the picks that the Raiders have already made in this year's draft, Tyree Wilson, pick number 7, was, I believe, the top 6 player on my players that the Raiders should take at number 7. Michael Mayer, traded up for him. Probably the best value still here for the Silver and Black. Byron Young, not a home run, but it does address a big-time need. Trey Tucker's the only swing and miss to me. I don't get it, and I probably won't get it, but hey, if he turns out to be a great player, then good for us. Jacorian Bennett, he actually just DM'd me on Twitter, and Jacorian Bennett wants to come on the Raiders show. Shout out to Manscaped Giggity. But when he does pop on this show, we're going to have a good time with the young rookie cornerback out of Maryland, Aiden O'Connell. Raiders traded up to get him, quarterback from Purdue. And now in round 5, 170, the Las Vegas Raiders traded up with the New York Jets to select Christopher Smith. So that means right now, as it stands, the Raiders have only 1 6th-round pick, and they have only 1 7th-round pick. So 1 6th, 1 7th. That's it. Chugs and I are going to be live here on the Raiders Report breaking down everything that there is to know about this draft, about the Raiders draft. And I will welcome Christopher Smith with open arms. Very smart, intelligent player. Coaches are going to love him. He's going to grind it out. And before we go, have the Raiders addressed their needs in this draft? Give me a yes or give me a no. I mean, we still got some linebackers sliding down. If you're able to get some of these guys, I want the Raiders to take at least one linebacker. And I mean at least one guy. To me, if the Raiders get Ivan Pace Jr. and they're able to get him at 203, I'll be happy with this draft a lot more than I am now. I will give my final draft grades at the end of round 7. For those of you that are watching this live, shout out to you. If you're not watching this live, we are giving away 2 Raiders Report jerseys today. All you got to do is tune in live to find out how to enter to win. Shout out to Raider Ron for always being a GOAT. Shout out to John Scheffler, and shout out to Sam On for dominating today's live streams here on the Raiders Report. Also, Christopher Smith, welcome to Raider Nation.